The Paula Deen Scandal, a capstone project for the George Washington University, presented by Kelly LeGuilin, Lauren Lazaruk, Jessica Throckmorton, and Donnell Carter. Our team conducted thorough research to determine how the crisis communication scandal was handled for Paula Deen. Case overview. Celebrity chef Paula Deen was accused and admitted to using racial slurs and discrimination against employees. The issue became a crisis with Deen's response. This resulted in losses of multi-million-dollar contracts and a negative public image. Deen has the opportunity to flip the issue into an ethical leadership platform. Organization. Paula Deen was ranked as the fourth highest earning chef in 2012 with a net worth of over $17 million. Incorporated in 2006, Paula Deen Enterprises LLC owns restaurant chains, publishes magazines and cookbooks, produces cooking products, provides meal delivery, operates a casino and hotel, operates retail stores, and produces television shows. Paula Deen is partial owner of two world-renowned restaurants, Lady & Sons Restaurant and Uncle Bubba's Oyster House, both which are located in Savannah, Georgia. Deen has sold over 8 million copies of 14 cookbooks. Her bi-monthly magazine entitled Cooking with Paula has over 1 million subscribers. Deen is most notable for her popular cooking shows that appear on the Food Network, Paula's Home Cooking, Paula's Best Dishes, and Paula's Party. Deen has received many multi-million-dollar contracts with large corporations such as Walmart, Smithfield, Harris, Springer Mountain Chickens, Target, and Home Depot. Environment. Internally, employees felt that Deen encouraged a racially discriminatory environment. Prior to the lawsuit, employees were asked to wear Aunt Jemima-themed outfits and yell in front of the restaurant, "Come and get it, y'all." This was traditional for slaves on plantation. Deen's son worked daily with Paula. They never viewed employee requirements as racist. Bobby Deen was quoted saying, "Neither one of our parents ever taught us to be bigoted toward any other person for any reason." Externally, Paula Deen reinforces the stereotype of a Southerner. The Southern stereotype is common in our society. According to Professor David Davis of Mercer University, stereotypes are very long-standing. They are based on people from one group judging from another group. The rise of the Southern stereotyping of Deen was in 2013. We were in the process of re-electing our first black president, Barack Obama. Americans are more than ever sensitive to modern racism. Rasmussen reported in July of 2013 that 32% of Americans believed race relations were getting worse. Racial tensions continued to heighten in 2013 because of the George Zimmerman trial. This case was occurring at the same time Deen publicly admitted to using the N-word, which made it an obvious scandal for the media to exploit. Prior to the scandal, Deen was experiencing criticism for her unhealthy recipes. USA Today criticized Deen for urging people to eat gooey, buttery cakes, fried butterballs, and skillet-fried apple pie. The media continued to criticize Deen, exclaiming that the Food Network condoned her attack on the health of millions of Americans. Despite all the criticism, Deen's fans remained loyal. The Los Angeles Times recently conducted an online poll finding that 92% wanted Deen back on television. Issue. In March 2011, former general manager of Uncle Bubba's Oyster House, Lisa Jackson, filed a civil action suit against Paula Deen, Earl Hires, Paula Deen Enterprises, the Lady & Sons Enterprises, and Uncle Bubba's Seafood and Oyster House for sexual harassment and racial discrimination. Jackson claimed in the suit that Deen would regularly call African American employees the N-word. This was the beginning of the kernel of the issue rising for Deen. Accusations of African American employees being racially mistreated by Deen, affecting her positive image as a celebrity chef. The issue became a crisis on May 2013 at a taped deposition when Paula Deen admitted to using the N-word in the past. The crisis spun out of control when Food Network cut her contract, along with many other companies. Timeline. One of her former employees, Lisa Jackson, filed a civil suit accusing Deen of racial and sexual harassment. In May of 2013, at a taped deposition for the civil suit, Deen admitted to using the N-word in years past. Her hard-earned success came to a screeching halt in June 2013 when she found herself in the center of a media scandal. On the 19th, the National Enquirer quickly ran a story stating they had a video of Dean, her racial confessions, triggering the onset of media scrutiny and lost contracts. On the 21st, Dean was scheduled to appear on the Today Show, but she canceled. She then posted a video apologizing online. Only a few hours after her online video, Food Network announced they would not renew Dean's contract. Just 2 days later, on the 23rd, QVC announced they would be reviewing their business relationship with Dean. Dean then appeared on the Today Show on the 26th, apologizing for her actions. Apologies were also issued through social media in an attempt to minimize the damage. Civil rights leaders Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton came to Dean's defense following the controversy. Jackson said if Dean is willing to acknowledge mistakes and make changes, she should be reclaimed rather than destroyed. On August 23, 2013, the case of Jackson v. Dean was dismissed in the Georgia court after both parties reached a settlement outside of court. Repercussions. Following the release of the deposition in which Dean admitted to using the N-word, 12 companies cut ties with Paula Deen, including Food Network, QVC Photo, Smithfield Food, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Novo Nordisk, JCPenney, Walgreens, and Caesars Entertainment. Dean's comments also impacted her family, fans, and Paula Deen Enterprises.
Strategy and response. Throughout the crisis, Dean's public relation goals were limited to reactive strategies. Dean's main objective was to use her celebrity status to persuade key publics that she was as much a victim as the person bringing the lawsuit against her. Her initial strategy was a written statement released by Paula Deen Enterprises, which had a goal to defend Dean's reputation by deflecting the racial issue and the use of the term nigger back on America's culture during the time period of Dean's upbringing. Dean then made 4 attempts to set the record straight and control media messaging. Her public relations team decided to post independently produced videos online. The first production was a 46-second YouTube video, which begins with an apology and includes visual fade transitions throughout. Dean commits to vocal commiseration using vocal strategies such as an apology and regret. In the second video, Apology, 1 minute and 56 seconds in length, Dean addresses Matt Lauer and the general public. The video is unedited, and Dean does not read from prepared notes or script. Borrowing from the awareness objectives of the first failed public apology, Dean remained steadfast in displaying her apology and regret responses to audiences and directly addressing those she offended. In the third video apology, lasting 36 seconds, Dean directly apologizes to Matt Lauer and explains why she canceled her scheduled interview on the Today Show. The video shows Dean in a comfortable environment and not visibly suffering from stress or fatigue as claimed. Dean's objectives of the employed reactive strategies are to produce image restoration results. In a face-to-face interview with Matt Lauer on the Today Show, she displays a mix of offensive and defensive reactive communication strategies, answering questions to which her responses expressed shock, attack in defense of her success, victimization, and most importantly, reversal. Outcomes. Paula Deen fans ruled on social media, banding together to boycott the Food Network, with over 600,000 people liking a Facebook page titled We Support Paula Deen, and a petition was started to get the Food Network to renew her contract on change.org with over 38,000 signatures. Both Twitter and Facebook saw everyday citizens uniting online to support Deen. Deen went on to hire Judy Smith, a Black internationally known expert crisis manager. A federal judge dismissed the race claim against Deen made by Lisa Jackson. A settlement was made and achieved in Lisa Jackson's favor. Deen fired her all-local legal team and hired new lawyers. After being dropped by distributors, Deen announced the launch of her kitchenware website called pauladeenkitchenware.com. 3 months after begging for America's forgiveness and admitting that she had used the word nigger, Paula Deen made her first public appearance at a Texas cooking show, receiving a standing ovation from a predominantly white audience when she stepped on the stage at the Metropolitan Cooking and Entertaining Show in Houston on September 14, 2013. With fans showing enormous support for Dean over the past few months, she has managed to land an investment deal with a private equity firm worth $75 to $100 million for a recently formed company called Paula Deen Ventures. This deal allows Dean to profit from her likeness and expertise beyond the likes of previous licensing agreements. Analysis. Paula Deen's poor management of the public relations crisis related to racial discrimination and use of racial slurs created a storm of negative media attention. Let's look at what worked and what didn't for Dean in her crisis communications. The first mistake Dean made was attempting to excuse her behavior instead of expressing concern and empathy to those she offended. The first response and statement issued from Dean's team claimed Dean's use of the derogatory word nigger was due to growing up during the 60s in the South at a time when it was more accepted. Unfortunately for Dean, that olden day excuse would not work for the public and would only worsen the image of the entrepreneur. Dean's next mistake was canceling her first public appearance after the deposition was released to the media. Dean's rep told producers of the Today Show that she was too exhausted to do the interview. Rather than utilizing the Today Show and its ability to influence public interest, the cancellation of the interview became the news story. Avoiding the media only further damaged her reputation. In her first video apology, Dean asked viewers for forgiveness. The apology was scrutinized because it lacked any specific details as to what she was actually apologizing for. An apology should be genuine, should acknowledge and accept full responsibility for the wrongdoing, and attempt to repair the injustice and make a promise not to commit the offense again. In the second video apology, Dean claims that the press had misrepresented her and accuses the media of framing her and her family as racist through the tone and context of their crisis coverage. When Dean finally appears as a guest on the Today Show, she misses the mark by making it all about herself and not about her stakeholders. She victimizes herself and leaves little room for her to take responsibility for her actions or to show remorse. She inhibits herself from really connecting with her audience. What Dean does do right, though, is her use of the social media. When Al Sharpton told a TV camera crew that Dean deserved a fair trial and shouldn't be punished for something she said in the past, Dean recognized him as an opinion leader and passed the message through social media to influence the opinion of others. Recommendations. What Paula Deen really needs is a strategic communications plan that will rebuild her brand and work to rectify her relationship with stakeholders. These 7 recommendations can assist in the rebuilding of Paula Deen's brand and reputation post-crisis. First things first, Dean needs to be proactive and plan ahead. She should consider working with a strategic PR and crisis management firm and seek education and training opportunities to learn more about the perceptions and realities of racism. Secondly, Dean Enterprises should conduct specific primary and secondary research in order to determine what will work best for key stakeholders. Online surveys and polls can help establish a baseline to evaluate attitude and behavior changes for fans and customers. In-depth interviews with network and corporate executives can help to determine the impact the crisis had on advertisers and audiences. The management team at Dean's Restaurant should conduct focus groups with employees and customers for improvement ideas. Next, strategic philanthropy efforts should be considered. Dean should concentrate these efforts on relative causes such as supporting single moms, children, families, and women with an increased focus on Black community outreach efforts. Current charitable activity should continue and/or increase if possible. Next, Dean should implement no-tolerance policies for sexual harassment or the use of racial slurs in the workplace. Black applicants and employees should be given a fair chance for employment and promotion, and an avenue of recourse should be provided for those who have been mistreated. Years of service employee recognition programs should be launched to incentivize and reward loyal staff members without racial bias. Did you know that 1 week after she issued her first public apology, Dean's new book topped Amazon's bestsellers list in pre-sales? Still, Dean's publisher decided to cancel the deal, and the readers were really at a loss. Dean should create a blog or a free ebook for those readers to help rebuild her reputation and focus on the stakeholders by giving them something that is valuable to them. Dean should continue to embrace the support of her fans. She should organize opportunities for minority groups that she has helped in the past share their positive experiences in working with her. Finally, monitoring tactics such as polls, keyword alerts, and unique URLs should be used moving forward, as well as conducted ongoing content analysis for media coverage.